Hello everyone, welcome back to the Misostudy.com, and in this session we are again discussing few important questions from the NEET biology, and in this session we are going to discuss the chapter that is mineral and nutrition. That is very important from the NEET perspective, and in this session we are going to discuss the question that is very important from NEET point of view one by one. Let's discuss the question from mineral and nutrition. Let's start the session with the first question, that is deficiency symptoms of readily mobilized essential elements will first appear on A. Younger tissues, B. Older tissues, C. Roots, D. Shoots. When we discuss about the elements that are actively mobilized within the plants and that generally exported to young developing tissues, the deficiency symptoms tends to appear first in the older tissues. First, deficiency symptoms appear in the older tissue, then in the younger tissues. For example, the deficiency symptoms of nitrogen written as N, K that is potassium, next is of Mg that is magnesium. Magnesium are first seen in senescent leaves. First seen in the senescent leaves. We discuss about the older leaves. In older leaves, the biomolecules containing these elements are broken down and making these elements available for mobilizing to younger leaves. In older leaves, generally biomolecules containing these elements. What kind of elements? Basically nitrogen, potassium and the magnesium are broken down, and these elements available for mobilizing to the younger leaves from the older leaves. On the other hand, deficiency symptoms tend to appear first in younger leaves and tissues, whereas and whenever the elements are relatively immobile and these elements are not transported out of the mature organs. Such type of elements are, for example, is sulfur, written as S, and calcium, written as Ca, are not a part of, these two elements are generally part of structural component of the cell, structural components of a cell, and hence they are not easily released from the cell, either from the older tissues or older leaves, and not from the younger tissues or younger leaves. Such as sulfur and calcium are the elements which is generally known as a structural component of a cell. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option B. According to the discussion is option B. Let's mark the right one. That is the option B. The question is, deficiency symptom of readily mobilized element will first appear in older tissue, whereas immobilized elements was first appear in the younger tissue. So student, you just focused on mobilized element asking in the question, or immobilized element is asked in the question. So according to the mobilized essential elements, that is first appear in the older tissues. That is the right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question from mineral nutrition. The next and second question from the mineral nutrition is, which of the following is not essential microelement of the growth of a plant? A. Nitrogen, B. Calcium, C. Zinc, and D. Potassium. When we discuss about plant require the basic essential elements, plants require nutrients from, all plants require nutrients for proper growth of the plant and development of plant, as like we need, as like the requirement in the human beings. There are 17 elements. There are 17 elements that are necessary for plants, and they are also known as essential elements. These 17 elements are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, copper, boron, zinc, manganese, molybdenum, nickel, and chlorine. I just write here the symbols of all the 17 essential elements. These essential elements are, all essential elements are categorized into two groups, name as macroelements and microelements. These macro and micro elements are categorized on the basis of the percentage they are required by the plant for their growth and development. First, we are discuss about the macro elements. Macro elements that are required in plants or required by plants in larger amount as compared to the micro elements. And macro elements are, example of macro elements are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, potassium, calcium and magnesium. I just again write the symbolized form and naming it in the session, and write the symbolized form for the macro elements that are required in larger amount as compared to the micro elements by the plants. Let's discuss the micro elements. Micro elements is also known as trace elements. Why we name it as a trace elements? Because these elements are required by plants in very small amount, that is in traces. That's why we name it as a traces element. And the example of micro elements are iron, copper, boron, zinc, manganese, molybdenum, nickel and chlorine. These all are the examples of micro elements, and I just write here the symbolized form of all the micro elements. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option C. That generally discuss about the micro and macro elements and about the essential atoms. That is zinc. Which of the following is not a micro element that generally required for the growth of the plant? So zinc is the right answer in this case. Let's move on and discuss the next question from mineral nutrition. That is, when the plants are grown in magnesium deficient but urea rich soil, the symptoms expressed are. Here the plant are grown in a condition, first the soil is magnesium deficient and next is the soil generally facing urea rich condition. The symptoms are expressed as yellowish leaves, colorless petiole, dark green leaves and option D, that is shoot apex will die. When we discuss about the condition, we all know that magnesium is very important as they are the essential element. Apart from that, they generally important constituent of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment with the help of which plant generally process the photosynthesis, and photosynthesis is the important process with the help of which plant generally form their food. Thus it is found in all green plants. Chlorophyll is essential and always present in all green plants and essential for the process of photosynthesis. Apart from the presence in chlorophyll, it also help in binding of ribosomal particles where protein synthesis occurs. where protein synthesis occur. They generally, we just discuss about the magnesium. So part of their presence in the chlorophyll, they generally help in binding of ribosomal particle. That ribosomal particle help in the for protein synthesis. Hence, apart for all these, they magnesium are also part of many enzymes. A part of their presence in chlorophyll and the ribosomal particle, they are part of many enzymes of respiration as well. So, magnesium is very important for the plant in many roles. So, when we discuss about the deficiency symptoms of magnesium, it generally includes, first is intervenal chlorosis in leaves, and next is yellowing of leaves starting from basal to younger ones. Or we mention it as older to the younger ones. According to all this discussion about the beneficial and essential role played by the magnesium and the deficiency symptoms of magnesium, the right answer for the question is option A. Let's mark the right one, that is yellowish of leaves, and that generally yellowishness start from the basal to the younger leaves as we discussed in the discussion. Let's discuss the next question from mineral nutrition, that is, which of the following is not caused by deficiency of mineral nutrition? A. Etiolation, B. shortening of internode, C. necrosis, D. chlorosis. When we discuss about the deficiency caused by mineral nutrition, that is etiolation. Now the question arises, what is etiolation? Etiolation is a process of flowering plants. Flowering plants means occurring only in angiosperms. In flowering plants that generally grown in partial or complete absence of light, and this is the feature that generally cannot caused by any deficiency of mineral nutrition. Etiolation is characterized by long and weak stems. They are generally characterized by long and weak stem. When we discuss about the deficiency symptoms that are externally visible, pathological conditions which are generally produced due to absence of or deficiency of essential nutritive substance. So etiolation and deficiency symptoms are altogether different thing, because in deficiency symptoms are the symptoms that are externally visible. They are pathological conditions and sometimes they occur due to the absence of or deficiency of essential nutritive substance. So common deficiency symptoms of essential nutritive atoms and elements is chlorosis, necrosis and stunted growth. Stunted growth. Now, what is chlorosis? Chlorosis is non-development and loss of chlorophyll. Is loss of chlorophyll. Necrosis is death of tissues, and in botany and biology we mention it as a necrosis. And stunted growth, these all are the basic symptoms and we name it as a deficiency symptom shown by the essential nutritive atom or nutrition elements. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is etiolation. That generally the process shown by flowering plant means angiosperm in the absence or partially presence of light. So etiolation is not at all a deficiency symptom shown by the plants. So let's mark the right one in this case, that is option A is the process of etiolation is the right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question from mineral nutrition. Next is, how many molecules of ATP are consumed in reduction of one molecule of nitrogen into two molecule of NH3 during nitrogen fixation? Option A 4, B 16, C 56 and D is 38. For this solution, we just discuss about the chemical equation of nitrogen fixation and that can be summarized as N2 plus 8 electron plus 8 hydrogen ion plus 16 ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate in the presence of enzyme name as a dinitrogenase. Dinitrogenase give rise to 2NH3 plus 2H plus 16 ADP. ADP is adenine diphosphate plus 16 inorganic phosphate. This is the exact equation opted by the nitrogen fixation. So this ATPs that are used in the nitrogen fixation are provided by the process of photosynthesis and next is the respiration. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is 16. That is mentioned in the equation given or opted by the nitrogen fixation. Equation is N2 when add to the 8 electron and 8 hydronium ion along with a 16 ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate in the presence of enzyme name as a dinitrogenase give rise to 2NH3 plus 2 hydrogen ion plus 16 ADP and give rise to 16 inorganic phosphate. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is 16 ATP, and that ATP are provided for the process of nitrogen fixation is by the photosynthesis or by the process of respiration. So 16 is the right answer in this case. Let's discuss the next question from mineral nutrition, that is the process of transfer of amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of a keto acid is called as a option A oxidative amination, B is reductive amination, C is transamination, and D is deamination. We just find out the transfer of amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of a keto acid. So that is named as a transamination. Transamination is actually the process of transfer of amino group. Amino group is also written as NH2 of one amino acid to keto group, and keto group is also written as C double bond O. This is keto group and this is written as a amino group of keto acids, and the enzyme required for transamination is transaminase or aminotransferase. Why aminotransferase? Because in this process, transfer of amino acid from one amino acid to the keto acid and including the keto group. Example of such kind of process is in the glutamic acid. Glutamic acid is the primary amino acid involved in transfer of amino groups, and that amino group to as many as the 17 amino acids, and the equation is also written as when glutamic acid along with the oxaloacetic acid give rise to alpha keto glutaric acid plus aspartic acid, and that reaction is completed due to the presence of glutamate aspartate enzyme, and next is the aminotransferase enzyme. There is a requirement of two enzymes in the process, and that is written above the arrow mark, that is glutamate aspartate and aminotransferase. And the reaction is when glutamic acid adds to the oxalic acid, they generally give rise to the alpha keto glutaric acid and aspartic acid, and whole the reaction is followed in the glutamate aspartate and enzyme name as aminotransferase. Why we name it as aminotransferase? Because in this the transfer of amino group from one amino group written as this to the amino acid to the keto group written as this to the keto acid. Amino acid to keto acid, along with the amino group to the keto group. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is the process name as a transamination, and even the enzyme name as a transaminase and aminotransferase, because in whole the process the transfer of amino acids. So according to the discussion, the right answer is option C, that is transamination is the right one in this case. This is all about the discussion from the chapter Mineral and Nutrition, students. Hope students you like the lecture. Stay tuned with the Misostudy for such more session. Till then, take care, stay safe at your place. Thank you very much.